In the previous class, we have seen the basics of ion implantation. Okay, so in that we have seen like how or what different parameters are there on which this ion implantation is going to depend. How the energy stopping is defined basically. So here in ion implantation, the high energy ions of a dopant is going to hit a semiconductor surface, and that once it is going to hit the semiconductor surface, it will be having a high energy, and once it is going to the silicon crystal inside it, it is going to lose its energy. So that energy loss will be in terms of two types, like nuclear stopping and electronic stopping we have seen. So in nuclear stopping, we have seen, like in nuclear stopping, the ions are going to collide with the crystals of with the crystals of the semiconductor surface, semiconductor basically, and once it is going to collide, it will be losing stopping. Electronic stopping. So in the is going to be supplied to the bonds, electronic bonds available, and that electronic bonds between the atoms will break and electron will be generated. So that is called electronic stopping. Okay. Okay. So in electronic stopping, okay. So in like the energy supplied to the atom or uh, atom to basically to break bound electrons. Okay, so bound electrons are break. Okay, so this electron will be free. So whatever energy ions are having, that will be used for breaking the bound electron. So that is called electronic stopping. So we have seen. So in that, what is the energy loss? So this energy loss is a function of a number of dopant, uh, sorry, number of target atoms per unit volume along energy stopping energy in case of nuclear stopping, and energy that is stopping energy that is in case of electronic stopping. So here this is the function of energy basically. Okay, and how ions are going to penetrate the silicon surface, that is defined by the range, and that will be the function of the stopping function, the nuclear and electronic stopping. Okay, so from there we have find this range. The average of this that range is considered to be projected range, that is called mean. So it is basically the distance traveled by the ion in the direction of the injected ion. So whatever the direction is there. So if this is the beam of injection, so in that direction, what is the maximum penetration that ions have got? That is called the range, or we call it projected range. Okay. So the standard deviation function of this projected range is delta rp is considered as the staggle. We call it staggle. This is basically the standard deviation. And next we have seen the function, like how the concentration of the target atom is going to vary with the uh, depth of penetration of this ion implantation. So that shows a Gaussian function. Okay, so this shows a Gaussian function, or we call it Gaussian profile. This concentration of the target atom will be showing a Gaussian profile in case of ion implantation. Okay, and here ion implantation is will be analyzed perfectly if our crystal or the atom or the semiconductor substrate that we are using is basically an amorphous one. So if it is amorphous one, that means it is not having a perfect structure. The crystals are not arranged in a perfect crystal, so that the ions that is going to hit the crystal, that will be creating the defect, or it will be colliding with the atoms and will be stopped and will be losing the energy. So that will be basically giving this dopant to the crystal, or there will be a generation of defect or the variations like substitution and vacancies will be created by this ion implantation. So that will be taking place if the crystal is amorphous. So basically we go for amorphous analysis. So how we can convert a single crystal silicon to amorphous, that is by using self implantation and implant theory, implant through oxides basically. So we have seen the use of this amorphous crystal, and also we have seen the channeling. One point that we have seen is the ion implantation depends on the dose. Dose is basically the quantity or the concentration of the target atom. Okay, so that is also a function of Gaussian function. Okay, so that is Gaussian function. So from there we have find out like what is the quantity of this dose. So this dose depends on this delta rp, that is deviation in the projected range, along with the concentration of the target atom, that is the function of projected range. So whatever the penetration of the ions are there, that will be defining the, you can say that will be depending on the dose. Okay, or in reverse we can call it like, if we go for the like concentration, how the this n value is going to depend on the dose. So if we are going to increase the dose, okay, so this will be the direct function. Okay, so we can have the higher, like this dose will be a controlling factor for the concentration of the target atom basically. So from this was the basic we have seen. Now we will see how this concentration varies in different cases. So here, if you plot this concentration with x for different, you can say energy or different dose, it has been observed like, so this is the energy that is 7.2 into 10 power 14 per centimeter square. This is the dose, basically the quantity or the concentration. Okay, so this is different concentrations, 8.9 into 10 power 13 per centimeter square, and this is 1.2 into 10 power 13 per centimeter square. This is the concentration of the dopant or the dose basically. Okay, so this dose of the this dopant atom is going to have a different concentration of the target atom. Okay, so here this is an example of phosphorus atom. Here, if phosphorus atoms uh, are basically uh, going to be doped, or the ions of phosphorus atom is going to be you can say projected on the silicon surface, then this type of nature will be shown in case of the concentration of this target atom basically. Okay, so this is how the concentration varies in case of this dose variation is there. Okay, so that variation, it is directly proportional, but it is also a function of the range. So once the range is going to be high, okay, so once this x, that is a range, is going to be high, as range is going to be high, this n value is going to reduce. Okay, so at the starting, if range is less, it will be high, and if here, like if dose is high, okay, so if dose is going to be high, we are increasing this dose, and dose is increasing, but we are increasing the range also. So if we are increasing the range, it will be having the range function, and if If it is increasing the dose, the N concentration is going to be down. Okay. The next we have seen the mechanism, stopping mechanism. So in that stopping mechanism, we have seen two different stopping mechanisms. That is nuclear stopping. Okay. So we have seen the nuclear stopping, and one is electronic stopping. So in nuclear stopping, we are just plotting the rate of change of, or we call it the loss of energy with respect to the energy function. Okay, so if we plot this, we have observed its graph like, okay, this. So this indicates like this is the starting point. So here the energy is going to reduce. It will be, this is the direction of energy. So energy is going to reduce. So this is, you can say, the surface. This is the semiconductor surface on which we are imparting the ions. Okay, so ions are projected on the semiconductor surface. So at the surface, the energy that is there, that is considered as like Sn is there. This was the energy, that is maximum energy. Okay, so this is the energy, and this process, it is going up, and then it is going to reduce down to zero. So this is the zero energy. Okay, so from moving to, from whatever energy is there at the semiconductor, that will be highest energy we consider, and it will go up to a maximum value, and then it will be reducing from there. So this is the energy here. This energy is going to reduce. So energy is going to reduce, basically energy is going to reduce, and this will be a slow process. Okay, so energy is going to reduce. So minus del E by del X, that is a rate of loss of energy, is basically is going to be maximum at the peak, and then this rate of loss will be zero as the energy has becomes zero. So this is from going, once the ions have uh, project on the semiconductor surface, at the time the energy is highest, and it will be going to reduce. And once it is going to reduce, it will be a slow process, because nuclear stopping, the ions are going to collide with the crystals, atoms of the semiconductor surface. So once it is going to collide, it will lose the energy. So once it will lose the energy, this delay by del X is going to be highest. Okay, so this up to this peak, it will be a slow process. Once it has reached, it will suddenly lose its energy as this complete energy, whatever it is having, the ions are having, that will be minimum, that it will reduce to a zero value. So okay, so this is the, you can say, faster process. We call it the fast process. So once it is going to reach at the highest, it will be going to be zero with the highest faster way. Okay, so this is the how the energy is going to reduce. This is the energy of ions basically. So here in this range, energy transfer is going to be taking place to the lattice of atoms of the lattice, and here whatever energy there, now energy transfer is there to the lattice, and now this energy is going to reduce, so it will be coming out to be zero. So this approximation, this is just an approximation of like how the energy of ions are going to reduce in case of nuclear stopping. Okay, so in case of a nuclear stopping, how the energy is going to reduce, that is the projected, or you can say projected pattern of the energy loss. But for the simplicity of analyzing this process, the projected, this nuclear stopping is considered as a constant. So okay, so it is represented by, for a simplicity of the analysis, to simplify the analysis of this nuclear stopping, the mechanism of nuclear stopping. this is approximated as constant, and this is given by Sn0. Okay, so this is like, we can call it the approximation. This is an approximation uh, approximation of nuclear. Okay, so this is an approximation. So in case of nuclear stopping, this rate of energy loss is considered to be a constant that is given by Sn0. Okay, this is a constant. This is just an approximation has been made, like it is always a constant for the simplicity of analysis. Okay, then next is like we are having electronic stopping. So in case of electronic stopping, the electronic stopping is given by this curve here. Stopping energy, that is SE, in case of electronic stopping, is having a function of under root E. Okay, so from the previous pattern we have seen, the previous equations we have seen, this is the relation how the energy is related in terms of nuclear stopping, sorry, in terms of electronic stopping. So at the electronic stopping, it will be having the highest energy once it is to the like point where electrons are ions are bombarded to the silicon semiconductor surface. So energy, and this energy is going to be transferred to the bounded electrons, and that bounded electrons will break, and electrons will be released. So that some energy to release the electrons in the bounded electrons. So there will be a loss of energy. Okay. So this energy is going to reduce, and finally it will be coming out to be 0. Okay. So once this is electronic stopping profile. Okay, so this was the basically the this nuclear stopping profile. Once we plot these two, okay, because the nuclear stopping is being considered as constant, so you can say like this is the nuclear stopping, this is Sn0, and this is electronic stopping. So the point at which these two cut each other, that is considered as the EC. So this is called, you can say, critical energy. This is called the critical energy. So critical energy states that if the energy is below this, if energy is below this in this range, the nuclear stopping will be dominating. Okay. So in this case, the nuclear stopping will be the dominating factor for energy loss. And if the energy is greater than the critical energy, then here the nuclear stopping, here the electronic stopping will be the dominating factor for energy loss. Okay. So that was about the stopping. So once we have the stopping, we can find the range. So in case of we have found the equation, like, okay, so this was the range equation. So range is basically like with 0 range to maximum R range, we are just integrating the total distance the it can travel. So that is the nuclear stopping and electronic stopping, these energies. with the function of 1 by n. Okay, so from there we can find the range for different stopping factors. Okay, so this range in case of electronic stopping we can find from 0 to from maximum to a zero value. So initially the energy is considered to be E0, then it is going to be reduced. Okay, so with respect to that, okay, so we can integrate. So in that case, if it is the case of like the electronic stopping is suppose dominating, if electronic stopping is dominating, then the nuclear stopping factor will be considered as zero. Okay, we have neglected that. Then in that there will be some constant when, because this energy is a function of E. So in case of electronic stopping, we will be having a factor like this stopping energy in electronic stopping will be a function of. Okay, so if we integrate this, we can find like overall there will be a constant k1 with the function like a0 to the power 1 by 2. This will be the relation in case of relation of the range in case of electronic stopping is dominating. Similarly, in case of nuclear stopping is dominating, in that case the integration will be like uh, the electronic stopping is zero, the nuclear stopping will only be the factor that will be affecting, and that is a constant. So here consider as a constant. Okay, so in that case it is like overall a constant will be there with the function of t. Okay, so this is the case nuclear stopping is dominating. Okay, so once we have find out the range equation in case of different stopping mechanism, then the projected range. So this projected range, or we call it the mean of the range, is governed by different methods. There are different mechanism or the phenomena or the laws that is given by different scientists to approximately you can say estimate the projected range. So out of that, the best way that can estimate the range, this projected range, is given by the formula like projected range RP is given by like R divided by 1 plus M1 divided by 3M2. Okay, so this is the formula in case of projected range. This is the estimation of projected range by one of the you can say one of the trusted uh, formulas or the phenomena that can provide the projected range if we have got the range value. Okay, so here M1 is considered as mass of target atom and M2 is considered as mass of the incident ion. Okay, so and one more term we can see like if we call about the critical energy in case of boron, if we are going to have the boron ions in that in case of boron doping, the critical energy is considered as 15 electron volt, 15 kilo electron volt, and in case of phosphorus, this critical energy is considered to be 150 electron volt. This is when it is considered as a dopant for silicon. So this boron and phosphorus are considered to be a dopant. In that case, the critical energy is considered to be in boron. This is the critical energy, and this is the critical energy in case of phosphorus. So if the energy that is there, that is applied to the ions, is greater than this 15k electron volt, then the electronic stopping will be the dominating stopping. If the energy is less than this 15k electron volt, then that nuclear stopping will be the dominating uh, stopping factor. Next, we will see some terms like how these are the mechanism of this ion implantation. Now we will see like what are the different step-by-step processes that are required for ion implantation. Okay, so we will see the important steps or important points. So we'll see some points that are important. So one is ion source. Okay, so if we talk about the ion source, like from where the ions will be generated. So this ion source are basically given by, like we can call it like, consider as a dopant. So from a dopant we can get the ions, or by using the method called ionization scheme. So ionization scheme is a method through which we can get the ions, or we can get the dope from the dopants. So basically these dopants are gases. Okay, so here the dopants that from which we can, that's considered as a gas, and these gases, for example, there are different gases, that is ASH3, first fine we have seen, and B2H6. So these are the different dopant gases that are used to provide the ions in case of ion implantation. Okay, in case of ionization scheme, here electronic and magnetic properties of ions are basically going to be used to generate the ion. Okay, so this electronic and magnetic properties are used here. Electronic and magnetic, you can say, properties are used here to generate the ions. Are basically we can use either electronic or magnetic properties to generate the ions. So they are the, like, the first of all, ion source, from where we can get the ion source. The next one is, once we have got the ion source, we have to provide sufficient energy to that ion source. Okay, so that it can have the energy that it should be reaching to the silicon surface, and it should be creating the defects. And once it has created the defect, that means the doping has been done. Like it will be substituting the silicon atoms by the dopant atoms. Okay, so first of all we have ions. Once we have ions, we need accelerator. Okay, so here in the accelerator part, we will be using high voltage. Okay, so high voltage will be provided to the ions that we have generated, and that high voltage will be more than 1 mega electron volt. So that high energy will be provided in the form of voltage to accelerate these ions. Okay, so once we have accelerated these ions, so in that there will be many, if there are different atoms or different elements are there, we can have different ions out of that. So which ion we should be requiring, or we want to do the semiconductor surface, that we have to separate that ions from the complete accelerated ions. So there are different ions. Out of that we have to select our particular ion that we need. Okay, so here mass separation is used. So basically mass separation is used. So this in mass separation separator, basically we go with magnetic analyzer. So magnetic analyzer method is used for separating the ions. Okay, so that separation is based on the mass of the ions. Okay, so here how this mass separation is uh, done, we will see that. So here in case of uh, different atoms, and these atoms are having different masses. So there are suppose different atoms are there, and if we have accelerated that atom, then there will be ions of different atoms. Okay, and that atoms have different mass. So if that atom is having a mass, suppose m, and it is moving with the velocity v, after acceleration it is moving with the velocity v, and we have, this is the magnetic analyzer section. So if this is the movement of the ions, okay, with the velocity v, and there is a magnetic field perpendicular to this, v is the magnetic field that is perpendicular to the velocity, then there is a force that is generated on these ions. Okay, and this force is given by F, that is having Q V cross B. So V velocity into the magnetic field with the charge Q, that will be giving you out the force. So once these ions are moving, okay, in that direction, and it is moving in a magnetic field, then there is a force that is generated by this magnetic field with on a moving charge. Okay, so this force will cause the movement of these ions in circular direction. Okay, so it will be causing the movement in circular direction. So once it is moving in circular direction, then this force will be causing, uh, because of the movement, centrifugal force will be generated. Centrifugal force will be generated because these ions are moving in a circular direction because of this force. So this force will be having equal magnitude with the centrifugal force generated once it is moving in a circular direction. So that centrifugal force will be given by mass into velocity square divided by r. So in what is the distance, what is the radius of the circular path, that is r. So that is the centrifugal force given, that while the ions are moving in a circular path, because of the force F generated. Okay, so from there if we find out the V, like how the V is going to vary, so it is Q into B into R divided by M. So this is the, like, the first equation. In the next part we will see, like, once these ions are there, okay, so these ions are being accelerated. Okay, so once these ions are being accelerated, it will be having a mass, and also it is having velocity, so it is having a kinetic energy. It will be having kinetic energy that is uh, given by the accelerator basically. So accelerator has provided the potential voltage to the ions, and these ions are moving with the kinetic energy. So that kinetic energy will be given by half mv square, that is the kinetic energy. That kinetic energy will equal to the potential to the, so accelerator has accelerated the ions, that will be having the potential energy, sorry, the kinetic energy, and this energy provided to the ions is because of the high voltage that is provided to the accelerator. So that is that will be equals to the potential energy that is there. So this is the capital V, that is capital V voltage is applied basically, voltage provided to the accelerator. Okay, so the V into Q, that is QV, will be given as the energy in terms that will be equals to the this is the potential energy and this is kinetic energy. Okay, so from there if you find out the V, it will be given like 2q capital V divided by m. So by using first and second equations, by using equation first and second, we can find out the V value, that is we have seen like in the previous one. So from there we have seen this V value. So from there, by using first and second, in each cases we have V value. So we need to find out the R, that is what is the radius is coming out to be. So this R value we can get is like 2qv divided by m into m square divided by q square b square. So from there, this is coming out to be 1 by b under 2 m capital V divided by q. Okay, so this is R, that is the radius of the circle through which the ions are being moved. Okay, so in what radius, circular radius, the ions are moving, that is R. So here from there we can consider one point, like this R is basically having a directly proportional relation with the under root m. Okay, that means if the it is directly proportional to under root of mass of you can say the ion species, whatever ions are there, there are different type of ions. In that, if different type of ions are having different masses, then with respect to different type of ions of different atoms, it will be having different radius through which it will be moving. Okay, so in that we can see, like if suppose this is the starting point of the ions, so this is the like ions are there. Suppose there are different ions are there of three different. So if m1 mass is there, so that is if m1 is less, the radius will be, this will be the radius, like this will be the path movement of this ions will be there. If the another ion is there of having mass m2, suppose this one is having mass m1, another one is having mass m2, then it will be considering the path this. So this will be the path in case of m2. If another ion is there that is having m3 mass, it will be having path this m3. Okay, so different ions having different mass will have different path, because this radius is directly proportional to the under root m. So if m is higher, the radius will be higher. Okay, so if this is the case, from there we can find out, like if this is the case, here the our motive was like mass separator. So based on the mass, we can have different ions, because all the ions we cannot dope at the same time. So we have to select one of the ions available between the different ions. So we use a separator, or we call it a split, or call it screen, we can call. So this is like, suppose we want the ion that is having a mass m2, then we place a screen, we can place an screen, or we call it slit, we can call it slit. So this is slit will be there. So we will place a slit so that it will be only passing the m2 ion. Okay, all other ions will be stopped. So if m2 ions are passed, then we can have this ion for the doping to the semiconductor surface. That ion will be hitting the silicon semiconductor surface and will be creating defects and providing the doping. Okay, similarly, suppose we want a screen or we want a doping with m3 ion, then we will use a screen, and that this screen will allow only to pass through this m3 ion. So this is how we do basically the you can say mass separation. Okay, so this is one of the method of mass separation. There are other methods are available also for mass separation. So here basically a simple method is used, and in other methods like electronic and magnetic systems can be used for this ion separation also. Okay, so how we are able to separate, because this radius of the movement of these ions is basically dependent on the mass of the ions. Okay. So this is the third point. The fourth point that we need to consider in case of this ion implantation is XY scanning. So in the previous case, we have seen like we have placed a screen. So if we have placed this screen, similarly, we can place this screen in two dimensions. Like we can have an XY screen. Okay, we will be placing the screen such that we will be placing this screen in both. Either we are moving this screen in X direction, or we are moving this screen in Y direction. Okay, so this movement in either Y or X direction will basically cause here we will be the deflection of plates basically will be done in X and Y direction. X and Y direction movement. So these screens or plates we are using that will be having moving in X and Y directions. So what is the advantage of this X and Y direction? Suppose this is the region to which we need to dope the ions. So we will be moving this doping ions in this. Suppose this is the X direction, we will be moving in X direction. Now we will move to the Y direction, and then again we will be moving to X direction. Then Y and X, Y and X. Okay. So this is like how we will be doing the ion implantation. Okay. So this is we need to have a X and Y directional movement of these screens or plates. Okay, so this X and Y, this can be this is basically done for placing ions all over the semiconductor surface. Okay, so basically we will be doing this for uh, placing the ions all over this silicon surface, semiconductor surface. Okay, so these are the four different points that we need to take care. A next point we will see into the next class, that will be the last point in this ion implantation topic, and then we will be moving to the next unit. Okay.